Everybody, and in this series of Master Great Books or Enjoy Great Books, we have Arjun Dev Sir's Volume 2, Story of Civilization. And we have already done uh, previous chapters. Now we are in the chapter 11. This is part 2, so it's called 11. But in this book, it is third chapter. In as a part 2, it has got its 11th chapter. But in this, it's the third chapter. So let's start. We'll have one video for one section. It'll be very comfortable to learn it, and we'll read word by word carefully. Enjoy the reading, enjoy the content, like we have done for the previous chapters. The First World War and colonialism and imperialism are the first two chapters. The third chapter, chapter 11 or chapter 3 of part 2, the Russian Revolution. In a previous chapter, you have read about the rise and growth of the socialist movement. By the early years of the 20th century, political movements based on the ideas of socialism had emerged as a number of in a number of countries in Europe. With the outbreak of the First World War, however, the socialist movement in most countries of Europe suffered a setback. The Second International faced a split in the question of the attitude to the war and ceased to function. Second International, the meeting. During this period, however, unrest was brewing in Russia. Unrest was brewing in Russia. The Russian, the Russian Revolution took place in 1917, affecting the course of world history for many decades. That is the introduction. We'll continue the first section now. Conditions in Russia before the revolution. In the 19th century, conditions of Russia before the Russian Revolution. That you should know. It's not that Russian Revolution is bad. How was it before? In the 19th century, almost entire Europe was undergoing important social, economic, and political transformation. Most of the countries were republics, like France, or constitutional monarchies, like England. The rule of the old feudal aristocracies had been replaced by that of the new middle classes. Russia was different. However, was still living in the old world, under the autocratic rule of the czars, CZARs, as the Russian emperors were called. Right? Serfdom, which means slavery, had been abolished in 1861, but it did not improve the condition of the peasants. They still had a miserably small holdings of land with no capital to develop even these. With no capital to develop even these. For the small holdings they acquired, they had to pay heavy redemption dues. Heavy redemption dues for decades. This is the condition which led to the Russian Revolution. Many people should know. Land hunger of the peasants was a major social factor in the Russian Revolution. Industrialization. Industrialization began very late in Russia. That is the problem which happened in the second half of the 19th century. Then it developed at a fairly fast rate. But more than half of the capital for investment came from foreign countries. Foreign investors were interested in quick profits and showed no concern for the conditions of workers. Russian capitalists with insufficient capital competed with foreign investors by reducing workers' wages. Whether factories were owned by foreigners or Russians, the conditions of work were horrible. The workers had no political rights and no means of gaining even minor reforms. The words of Marx that workers have nothing to lose, but their chains rang literally true to them. The Russian state under the Tsars was completely unsuited to the needs of modern times. Tsar Nicholas II, in whose reign the revolution occurred, still believed in the divine right of kings. He was in the 1900s. He was believing that the preservation of absolutism was regarded by him as a sacred duty. The only people who supported the Tsar were the nobility and the upper layers of the clergy. Right? After all the rest of the population, the vast Russian Empire remained lurking. uh, Russian Empire was hostile. Was hostile. The bureaucracy that the Tsars had built was top heavy, very strong in the top, inflexible, no changes, and inefficient. The members being recruited from amongst the members being recruited from amongst the privileged classes rather than on the basis of any ability. Yeah. The Russian Tsars had built a vast empire, really, by conquest of diverse nationalities in Europe and Asia. In these conquered areas, they imposed the use of the Russian language and tried to belittle the cultures of the people of those areas. Also, Russia's imperialist expansion brought her into conflicts with other imperialist powers. These wars further exposed the hollowness of the Tsarist states. We'll stop here. In the next video, we'll have 6 minutes videos as we have planned. And every video will have one section. The first section is over, the introduction, first section. The next section is growth of revolutionary movements in Russia. How interesting it is. So this is a story of power, intellectual power, religious, traditional power, people's power, people's suffering, morality, what is right and wrong, leaderships. It's a combination of all this. And when you read, actually, it's not a big deal because when you read history, all the facts, if you keep it on the table, the facts speak for themselves. And finally, what I see is that people are taking sides. If you see all the facts, even a person presenting all the facts is taking sides. But if you see all the facts, my view, if you see all the facts clearly, the facts speak for themselves. But to see all the facts, you have to know all the facts. This is my view. In the 2026, we should know everything. We should know science and maths, we should know history, and we should know literature, and we should know arts. What happens when you ask all the questions is that you don't fool yourself with your own bias. You look at things straight. That is the view of Vikas sir of Drishti Academy. There's one great thing about him, which I've learned from him. And that is actually an intellectual, holistic view. So I believe that when you read humanities, especially, even sciences, in modern physics, it goes crazy. There are many viewpoints. You understand? You have to look at the facts and you have to see all the facts. As an educationist, I would say, don't stop your mind from asking questions. All the questions. That is my standard. I might be wrong, but that's my stand. Thank you.